everybody, welcome back to Guns and Grace. Today we're doing the High Standard Supermatic Trophy Bullseye 22 caliber pistol. So High Standard's been around for a long time and they're known for their bullseye pistols. This is the Supermatic Trophy. It has plug-and-play barrels. I'll show you what I mean by that here in a second. It is known for being incredibly accurate. I did have the honor of shooting it a little bit yesterday, and I did find it to be an incredibly sturdy, accurate gun right out of the box. Of course, this one is not right out of the box. I believe the serial number has this one made in 1979, so you know, it's been around a good time. I love the blued finish with the gold pieces, the gold trigger, safety, and the mag release there. It does have a European style mag release, and kind of an interesting one. Rather than the little roll bar that you pull back, this one you actually pull forward. You pull forward on the bottom of the what seems like the grip there. That's the mag release. If I'm being totally honest, I don't love the engineering of this gun. The barrels are plug and play, meaning you could switch out this guy for, I've seen them 8 inches, which is kind of cool. This one is just the 5.5, but they're kind of difficult to get off. You're going to have to engage that button. You're going to have to get it pressed down, which is very hard to do, and then you'll have to do the same to get the barrel back on there. And so there's some tricks to that. You wanna go at that slowly so you don't ding up the frame too badly. First thing we're always going to do, of course, is drop that magazine and check our chamber, which is clear. And now I have locked the slide back. First thing we're going to have to do really is get that barrel off, which will involve depressing on that button so that it releases and we're able to pull the barrel off, and that takes some finagling. So much so that I kind of recommend you get good old Mr. Rubber Mallet. I know. I hate any disassembly that requires a mallet. I feel like Elmer Fudd or Bugs Bunny about to just like go to town. But that's the route I've had to go here because I cannot get that button depressed all on my own. And so I recommend kind of keeping the meat of your hand, the web of your hand in between the chamber and the barrel while you give that button there a nice firm love tap. You don't have to like, but you do want to go at it, you know, pretty seriously. There we go. Cool. And so from here, you should be able to sort of just press on it with your thumb, and then you should be able to pop that barrel off of there. Like I said, nothing easy about that. I feel like it's a little barbaric, especially with such a nice gun. I was afraid I'm going to scratch it. But really just kind of go at it slowly. You should be able to get it off of there. Now that we have the barrel off, from here we can simply pull back on that slide. Be careful, don't let it go, otherwise it's just going to fling off of there. But then that's just going to pull forward. And that's really it. I don't recommend going any farther than this. Which, you know, despite the barrel situation, it really breaks down pretty evenly. There's not a whole lot of little parts we need to worry about, which is nice. But we do want to go ahead and give everything a nice cleaning. So that will do, like we would any other gun. Just get some solvent on a little cloth here. Let's start wiping down. See really how dirty we are here. Dirty enough. Okay. You might get your brush and start scrubbing. Just break up all that old carbon and dirt. The rod and recoil spring are actually built into the bolt here, which is interesting. And I wouldn't recommend you try to take that off of there. You shouldn't really need to. You should be able to just sort of clean over it and around it. But you do want to go ahead and clean that. But like I said, just get in there, start breaking it up. It has sort of a fixed rear sight here, and that's not going to come off. So don't try to Take that off. This is a very pristine kind of gun. You know, if you really want it to function at its highest level, I mean, you need to come home and clean it every time you use it. Alright, now let's turn our attention to the barrel real quick. I do already have a 22 brush ready to go. And of course, we always want to go from chamber to muzzle. Do that just a few times. Alright, cool. Cloth holder. Dip it in some solid. Run that down the bore. Alright, now that everything's clean, we're just going to lube up the rails and other moving parts while we put it back together. And you want to just drag that Q-tip along the rails of the frame there. Let's put a little bit on that ball to make it easier, hopefully. And then, of course, the slide. Alright, now we're ready for reassembly. To do that, let's start by taking the frame and your slide here. Go ahead and get it back on those rails, and then be ready to engage that slide lock there. Alright, now we got to tackle that barrel again, which is a little easier getting it back on, I think. I have found anyway. I recommend you kind of just get her on a table somewhere. There's actually a little, if you push on it, push on the button, just look down, you'll be able to see how the hole expands to accommodate that guy. And so you kind of have to push it back to that hole. Then if you can, it should just sort of snap back into place. There we go. And then I'm actually going to use the mallet to give it another little love tap, sort of make sure it's really on there. Alright, cool. And now we insert our magazine. Drop the slide here. And do a quick function check. Alright, we're back together. Thanks for watching, everybody. That was the High Standard Supermatic Trophy. Take care.